Welcome to Norse Code, the #1 podcast for your Minnesota Vikings. I am your host and producer. My name is James Pagashnik. Thank you so much for listening. And we're going to do something a little bit different tonight. But we do have our regular co-host. You know him from Cover 32, Cold Omaha, and many other blogs. He is Useful Human Arif Hassan. Arif, how are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm a little scared. This is going to be a little different. We are going to do a regular preview later in the week of the Saints game. But we decided to do something a little bit different tonight, and I think you'll like it. It's something new for us, but it's not necessarily a new concept. If you're familiar with either like OSW Review, or if you're familiar with like Riff Tracks or Mystery Science Theater 3000, what we're going to do is we are going to watch the 2009 NFC Championship game in its entirety and provide commentary during it. We have lots to talk about throughout the game, and we all know how it's going to end. But we thought it might be a little bit cool to give this a shot, see what this is like. So we're going to try this. We may have Dusty on a little bit later. We're not sure. But for right now, it is Arif and I. So we have the link to the video both on the Daily Norseman page, on the NorseCodePodcast.com website, along with the episode notes inside of iTunes and all that. So we have it here so that you can follow along. And when we go 3, 2, 1, go, on go, you will hit play. So if you'd like to play along with us, you certainly can. Otherwise, if you would just like to listen, you are more than welcome to do that as well. But this is a bit of a companion piece. So if you would like to, you have the opportunity to do both at the same time. So that's kind of cool. Arif, are you ready to experience this again?
Yeah, I'm kind of excited. Going into it cold, didn't look up any information about the 2009 Vikes, going off of my memory of the season, or the 2009 Saints, going off of my memory of the season. We'll see like how many things I get kind of hilariously wrong, because I wasn't really deep into the weeds in football back then. Yeah,
it should be cool. I was very, very into this team. I spent many an hour at the Metrodome, Mall of America Field, to watch nearly every home game they had. So I'm a little more familiar because I was looking up a couple of stats before the show, but we're gonna give this a shot. So let's get our YouTube window ready. And for those of you at home, if you want to make sure that you have it ready, and we are going to start it off here in 3, 2, 1, go. And Brett Favre is on the screen right now, and we'll occasionally provide updates as to what time in the game it is, just so we're kind of aware. And the kick is off. There we go. All right. So let's start it off.
Yeah, I guess I was kind of excited because, it's Percy Harvin. It's the he's like the first Cordero Patterson in terms of kick returning. Mm-hmm. It's just I don't know. He was pretty electric in a completely different way. It would have been kind of fun to see him return the kick. That's too bad, but we get to start off with Favre, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's too bad we get Favre, isn't it? It's just just too bad. This game is going to be a bit like the Deadspin articles, where it's remember that guy
hit on the very first play. Jesus, yeah. Good preview of things to come.
Yeah, it's just going to go like that. Yeah, that was 1, 2. I mean, it was legal, but
yeah, no, that one's legal. We'll see some of the more questionable ones.
Yeah,
a little bit later, I guess.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit like those Deadspin articles. Hey, Kleinsasser.
Yeah, Kleinsasser. It's interesting. You had Peterson in the flat open on the other side, and he just fell down in the route.
Yeah. So, this is going to be like those Deadspin articles where it's like, remember this guy? And then just a random name. Like, remember Bobby McRae? Yeah, the Vikings offense is full of those. Tahi, for example. Oh, yeah, that's right. We had a
Well, I think everyone kind of remembers Tahi.
Well, I mean...
Not in a favorable or fond way, usually.
I mean, it's a thing, but Favre going back here. I mean, Bernard Berrien is on this team.
It was. Yeah, they had like the huddle was lined up. It was like Brett Favre, Adrian Peterson, Bernard Berrien.
And then and then Chester Taylor, and you're like, one of these names is not like the other. God, there's so many likable people on this team. Is that McKinney? Sure is.
Yeah, McKinney. Back when we liked him.
Back when we were totally fine with his existence.
Yeah, and Adrian Peterson was like super likable. You just kind of had to ignore some of the background noise, but it wasn't that bad. I think this was before he like compared football to slavery or something.
Yeah, he just started doing things like that. Berrien with the first down. Boy, this is a throwback.
Yeah.
I don't remember Berrien catching much after
Berrien
2009.
was like way out of position on it. This is like stuff I didn't notice when I was first watching this game. Man, Favre's got a rocket.
Yeah.
He's like 40. Jesus.
Yeah, there's only like 2 quarterbacks in the world that can throw at 40, and it's Favre and it's Brady apparently.
Right.
Everybody else just falls off a cliff. I can't wait to see what Brady's going to be like next year.
Good God.
Berrien with a contested catch. I think like everything in this game is contested. Yeah, I love the replay on this. Favre is trying his best.
Yeah, to get everyone. Yeah.
Like, wow, we're in the loudest stadium on earth. How are they lined up on this 2nd and 1?
Dude, I don't know. They've actually been lining up kind of weird throughout the game. Like, I kind of assumed that it's Percy Harvin with a running back carry. I kind of just assumed that the blue scrimmage line has to be off somehow because none of the wide receivers or tight ends seem to be lined up on the line of scrimmage. I'm not really sure what's happening. And Percy Harvin took so much damage.
Well, in life, really.
Yeah, right, yeah. You got Chester Taylor out there on 1st and 10, just like you kind of hoped and expected. They just had a shot of Adrian Peterson just like steaming on the sideline. Oh, and Taylor gets the catch. Peterson had like a good number of receptions this year, actually. Like, was it like 50 odd like receptions? Like it was like pretty high. I think it was like his career high, which makes sense is with Favre, but like everyone kind of assumed hey, in 2010 you got Favre back. Peterson's going to turn into a true receiving back, and this is before we got tired of all those Peterson's finally going to learn how to catch the ball stories.
Yeah, at one point that corrected itself, but it certainly wasn't after the season.
Yeah, right.
Regression. Thy name is Adrian Peterson.
Like that Brian McKinney has that old school neck roll. Yeah, see, there's a Peterson catch. Breaks like 2.5 tackles, gets a ton of yards. It's kind of weird to see Peterson like as he like was at his like peak, just because I just remember, I guess, writing so many articles about how the Vikings needed to like get rid of him after he kind of lost all this explosion.
Well, yeah,
it was really fun to see.
You're used to writing all of these articles about him past his prime. Meanwhile, here is a perfect example of him in his prime, both on the field physically and his ability to just mess up a game for the team he's playing for.
Right.
Oh man, look at that cut!
Jesus. It is pretty fun. I mean, like, it's going to suck when the game ends, but it is pretty fun, watching him run like this.
Yeah.
What's crazy is I think 2009, like, before he started, like, dropping off the injury in 2014, the 2015 season where he was, like, not that good but led the league in rushing yardage. It's kind of weird to think 2009, before all that, 2009 was, like, his worst season statistically.
Yeah, it's a bit odd, but it was also due to the fact that they were able to throw the ball so effectively. I mean,
right.
He never had a quarterback like this ever again. Oh, man, look at that touchdown.
Wow. Yeah. Jim Kleinsasser's just laying out a block.
Kleinsasser, useful.
Oh, Greg Lewis, who I think is still a wide receivers coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. I love that. Oh, right, because Kleinsoster's a tight end, not a fullback, so they had Tahi out there blocking too. But I just love that the first person to congratulate Peterson was Greg Lewis, because for some reason he was near the play.
Yeah, Greg Lewis is useful, just briefly. I mean, Greg Lewis had one of the better, like, super short, bright careers. He had an all-time highlight. He played in an NFC Championship game, and that was basically it for him.
I hear he's a pretty good wide receivers coach.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I actually hadn't heard that he had caught on somewhere. Is he over at the Giants, or where'd he end up?
No, I think he's still with the I think he is just with the Eagles, and I think he's been with them through 2 coaches, which is pretty cool.
And now Sean Payton is on the screen in case you are syncing up with us.
Yeah, with his anus mouth.
Yes.
I can't unsee that.
No, you can't.
Is that Benny Sapp?
That is Benny Sapp right there.
Oh my God, what? I thought he wasn't signed until 2010.
No.
Oh my God.
That is the Benny Sapp.
The myth, the legend.
Who's number 22 down there?
Is that Cedric Griffin?
No.
Nope. And there's Jasper Brinkley.
Yep, okay. Yeah, this really is turning into a remember these guys thing.
I assume at some point in the second quarter we're going to stop doing that.
Probably.
That's pretty good coverage from Griffin.
Yeah.
He was good before he tore, like, both ACLs.
Yeah, able to stop that catch by, is that Marquise Colston? Yeah, that was Colston.
What? Yeah. Oh, and there's Robert Meacham and Reggie Bush. Oh, my gosh.
It's hard to believe sometimes, but no, he got a ring. That's actually that led to a question earlier because it wasn't through Twitter, but there was a question as to whether or not if the Saints made it to the Super Bowl and won, would they send a ring to Adrian Peterson because he played in games for them, so he could technically get a ring.
They're pretty generous with those rings. I remember asking if Christian Ponder would get a ring for the Broncos because he was on like the practice squad. Mm-hmm. And practice squad players very often will get rings, but he's on the practice squad for like a week. And I was like, I wonder. It turns out no.
Matt Flynn is the king of this. Matt Flynn tried to sign with every team in one particular year, and got that for his troubles. He just played for like 8 of them that didn't go to the Super Bowl that year and win.
Colston caught one over Chad Greenway. Oh, no.
That could not have been foreseen.
Hey, this season Chad Greenway is actually really good.
Oh,
wow. Right over Williams.
Boy, and this is young Breeze, too. This is Breeze, like...
Well, people were still trying to figure out whether or not they, like, believed in him and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember having arguments with people, and I still, wasn't very, like, deep into football. But I remember having arguments with people about whether or not, Breeze was better than Rivers. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Breeze definitely is better than Rivers. But, like, no one had kind of, like, bought into Drew Brees back in the middle of 2009. Because this was, like, this team was, like, undefeated, right? The Saints team for, like, 12 weeks or something.
Yeah, they had quite the run. And which is funny because looking at the 2009 season, we never matched up with the Saints, but they were always on the horizon. So every time we would, win, we would be able to look back and go, okay, this is coming. Wow, that was one hell of a defensive encroachment.
Yeah. I mean, they committed to it.
We sent their center back like 8 yards.
In retrospect, probably should have committed to it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Given what they did to Favre, right?
Well, yeah. that was Pat Williams.
Yeah, that's Fat Pat.
Oh, 94.
Yeah.
All Star Caps and all.
Before Star Caps was completely resolved and he just decided to resign instead of deal with it.
Yeah. Which is a power move. I mean, let's be honest.
That's Ray Edwards rushing from the defense's left side, right?
Is it? I thought Ray Edwards destroyed his knee in the Arizona game a few weeks prior.
Oh, who's 91 then?
It's an excellent question.
No, it is Ray Edwards. It is Ray Edwards. Huh. Before he like became a jobber at MMA. No. He went up against a jobber in MMA. Tomato can.
Yeah, they're talking about the Dallas team that went into Minnesota thinking they were going to march through and got destroyed. Oh, God.
Oh,
tackle
Jesus.
him. Tackle him.
Oh, my God.
Pierre Thomas.
Pierre Thomas. I didn't know he was on that 2009 team. I thought he came a little bit later. It's so hard to keep track of like all these Saints running backs, which I guess that trend continues even to today.
There have been so many. Hey, there's Sage Rosenfels on the sidelines.
Did he ever answer your tweet?
He sadly did not.
That's too bad. We asked Sage if there was a possibility if after this game Brett Favre was going to be cleared to play for the Super Bowl. And, the answer probably would have been yes. I mean, it's Favre. We saw what happened, like what lengths he would go to in the 2010 season. But it would have been nice to get like something from a former teammate about his medical situation immediately following the game.
Yeah, like an official, like, yeah, that he would have been able to, like, that looked rough. Like,
yeah,
that
what I think
team,
his ankle grew 3 sizes that day, right?
Yeah, and decided to change to the color of the team. So,
right,
white, purple, and probably and yellow too. I remember seeing the picture of it. Harvin dives to the 27.
Was that an intentional short kick? Because like it just gave it to them at the 27.
They just didn't want to have it all the way back. They wanted to have like no time to be able to take him. Oh, Favre going deep. Berrien is not going to get that.
Yeah.
Not because of
the cornerback just like was. Oh my God, there's Darren Sharper. Jesus. The cornerback.
We're going to have a few of those moments.
It's not going to happen. Yeah, right. The cornerback was like, this is not going to get near Bernard Berrien. I'm just stopping.
No.
Brett Favre is absolutely one of those quarterbacks that you cannot show to young developing quarterbacks. Like, breaks every rule.
It is 7-7 with 6:19 in the first quarter. 2nd and 10. 9 seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5. Crowd noise is going to be a factor. That throw to Sidney Rice, it didn't look... you couldn't tell if that was an overthrow or if that was just a throw to Sidney Rice. Like, that's kind of the weird thing about Favre's throws.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I don't think Favre knows if he was making a distinction there either.
It's like, well, if Sidney was able to jump up 8 feet in the air, maybe he'd be able to catch that.
Yeah, that's catchable.
Yeah. Favre was never really concerned about records that Sam Bradford now has about, accuracy or anything.
Right. 3rd and 10. How did this offense organize itself?
Oh, okay, free play.
Dead play.
Favre just whips it down, and it's called dead.
I would be careful about using language about Favre and whipping it.
I really should. I'll try not to use anything else that could be questionable, especially when discussing Darren Sharper, the hardest hitting safety in the league. Oh my
God, it's the worst that he's part of that meme too.
I like a good free play. Oh, see that?
Oh man,
unnecessary. Unnecessary.
That's definitely one of like many questionable borderline / illegal hits to come. It's kind of like this. Kind of brings up the question. So I actually never thought about this. So Favre gets hit a bunch in this game, obviously.
Right.
I never thought about this. Maybe they really should have. And this like is discounting the whole fumble problem. Maybe they really should have just played. God, crap! I'm already blanking on the name.
Nice.
The other
first down
running back, Chester
call.
Taylor.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have just played Chester Taylor more often, given like how much better he was in pass protection. Because these guys are just like sliding right past. They threw that flag, right?
Yes, they did. So we got a first down.
Like, it's kind of unthinkable to be like, yeah, don't put the best running back in there with the best quarterback in the NFL, because Favre had like a 33-7 ratio going into the playoffs. But like, I mean,
look at Berrien make people miss.
Jeez, look at that! Looks like he learned something from Percy Harvin.
I'm just trying to remember a time when Bernard Berrien was this good. I remember Sidney Rice, but Berrien is.
I mean, because like after the season, we were all like, yeah, Favre made Berrien, which I mean that's still true, but like there's a bunch of good here from Berrien, which is kind of nice to see. But yeah, going into this game, you had the Greg Williams defense, which later became known for how unnecessarily savage they were. Was also known for its like really heavy blitzing. I think only Rob Ryan was more well reputed as a heavy blitzer. And knowing that, it may have made more sense. And I mentioned this, I guess, early in the game that Peterson was sitting out, but it may have made sense to even put in Chester Taylor for even more snaps. And of course, Favre is down right now.
Yeah, they're actually to the point of mentioning that Favre is getting hit. Yeah, that was totally unnecessary.
That should have been flagged. That's absolutely unnecessary roughness. Of course, there is a penalty, but it's for hitting Percy Harvin while he was out of bounds.
Yeah. Hey, there's Brad Childress. Just want to point out. This is Childress retired today.
Retiring, yeah. Which, I mean, he gets a lot of hate from Vikings fans, and yeah, I guess deservedly so. But I mean, you gotta admit, I mean, he put the Vikings in a good position very often. Like, I want to kind of congratulate on him, even if his career was built maybe on nepotism. It was nice to see the team get to where it was. I know Favre didn't listen to him, and it's difficult to say, he crafted this offense, but I think to a large extent he did more than people give him credit for. So he deserves a good send off. Oh, wow, that cut. Oh my God.
He is just so fast. He doesn't have the old man speed. This is young man speed.
And there's Darren Sharper with the tackle, which at the time was bittersweet for one reason, and now is just awkward.
Oh, okay. So they flagged the hit on Favre then.
But they called hitting a runner out of bounds.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing. But yeah, they threw the flag where Favre was hit. This Kleinsoster pass protecting. Oof.
I like the marching band. Just hanging out in the corner. The band is on the field.
What was because Favre had to do some prep before this game too. Like he had to inject a lubricant into his ankle, and there's something with his elbow too. Like he was hurt going it. Yeah. A little piss and vinegar.
11 dropbacks, 4 hits. 4 hits. And we are not out of the first quarter.
Wow. Oh, he just got decked again.
And Harvin's going to make it to the 7.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Darren Sharper's name again. Drink.
The ref helping Favre with his jersey. Hold on, you got your pads showing. Let me tuck that back in for you.
That one was... I have a feeling this is going to be like watching one of those VHSs from the 90s, 80s of NFL's greatest hits. And just all of these nasty 70s headshots and everything. It's going to be like that by the end. We're just going to go, oh, God, my kid's never playing football.
If it wasn't for the taint of Bountygate, which deserved, I wouldn't be surprised if this ended up if it would have ended up in football books as famous as Bill Belichick's playing against the Rams in 2001.
That's possible.
Of always putting a hit on the quarterback, and now putting a hit is got both meanings, I guess, for the Saints.
Yeah. The other thing that's worth mentioning is the Saints are fresh off of retiring Kurt Warner in the previous game.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. So this is a little bit before Harvin was really Harvin, right? Because he took off in Adrian Peterson's MVP year. In 2012, he had just the most amazing first half of the season before he got injured with the Seahawks. And so every time he catches the ball on a screen, I'm kind of expecting the 2012 version, which was surreal.
And this is just the raw.
Yeah, he's a rookie this year, right? The 2009 version is great.
Yeah.
But the 2012 version would have brought that into the end zone.
Yeah, this is raw as possible Percy Harvin. Favre drop back, third down, third and goal. Oh, perfect.
Touchdown Sidney Rice. Yeah.
Sidney Rice with the shimmy.
Man, that was a decisive offense.
So good.
It's weird. We're like thinking like, oh wow, he threw 33 touchdowns this year, and it's like that in the contemporary NFL. I guess this season it's a lot, but like I think since Stafford threw 41, a couple years later, we just kind of raised the bar on like what a big touchdown season is. But like,
yeah,
that was just such a good offense.
So it's 14-7 with 2 minutes and 11 seconds left in the first quarter. Boy, Sidney Rice, there's another one of those. Do you remember, let's remember this name real quick.
Yeah, Vikings fans, I think, are maybe correct in their anger towards Sidney Rice, but maybe they should kind of inject it with a little bit more understanding. But him refusing consistently to take surgery again and again and again, and eventually taking himself out of commission for the season.
And then that took him out of commission for his entire career.
Yeah, no, that basically ended it. Did he end up on the Seahawks for a quick second?
He did. He retired as a Seahawk.
It started a pretty good trend of Vikings to Seahawks.
Yeah, it was that, Harvin. Just
T-Jack.
The train went west.
Oh wow, swallowed him up.
They're talking on the sidelines.
Hey, there's a good Chad Greenway.
Yeah, they're talking. Joe Buck is talking about how they're already looking at Favre's jaw on the sidelines. So we're not out of the first quarter.
Wow. These defenses are totally foreign.
Is that a triple reverse?
I think it's just a reverse, but
let's call it a double reverse. And that was a lot of work for no gain.
It was a lot of work to get 0 yards. No, but aren't these defenses like kind of weird to look at now? Because you only have 2 corners, you've got 3 linebackers, they're all off the line of scrimmage. It's how football is described in like books that you can find today, but not how football is played in like the modern NFL. They're not going to nickel very often. Both safeties are playing cover 2 a lot. The 3 linebackers are just like, I don't know. It's like weird.
There's a Brian Robinson sighting.
Yeah, this is right before I think he got that extension that pissed off Ray Edwards. And there's Antoine.
Mm-hmm. God, Winfield was such a good corner.
So long, too. Let's see if this is holding on Ray Edwards or holding on the Saints. You could call it, and I wouldn't have hated it.
It's holding in the sense that everything is holding.
Yeah, he certainly sold it, but didn't get the flag.
Yeah. So where did you watch this game originally?
Where was I? Yeah. I was probably I was with my debate partner Logan and a bunch of other people from the University of Minnesota debate team as we were watching this. I think we were in a house that was being rented out by a bunch of the debate team.
Well, there's Jared Allen and the mullet. So they're not calling that? Okay.
Nope.
It's like they threw a flag just for the sake of throwing a flag. So good for them. And Peterson almost swallowed up.
Yeah, it looks like he's getting swallowed up and he gets 3 yards out of it.
I had just moved back from North Dakota, or from Minnesota. So I was back in North Dakota. I was very sick and sitting on the couch and watching this at my parents' house and trying not to curse in front of them.
That sounds so difficult.
that taught me how to watch football games while holding a sleeping child.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's good training.
It worked, but it was very difficult. Did he take that out of shotgun?
Oh,
No.
Maybe. No. Well, yeah, it's a draw play, so it kind of is not quite the same thing.
No.
You got Anthony Herrera and Steve Hutchinson.
Sullivan? Is that Sullivan? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Sully, yeah.
Chester Taylor now in. Berrien.
It's third down.
Yeah. Third down and 6.
They're still putting their blocking. There's the decibel meter, 102.
102 decibels at the moment. Yes, Joe Buck, you underselling goofball. I assume that means it's loud. Yeah, thanks. Twit.
Oh, jeez.
Favre knocked down, but not bad, just knocked down.
Man, Favre makes the weirdest plays sometimes. Which, I mean, is the whole point of Brett Favre.
Well, yeah. His existence is kind of like that.
It's kind of interesting what the Vikings are doing because, like, there's on a lot of these downs, they're still putting. Oh, is that Chris Kluwe?
Yes.
Or is this okay? I was wondering if this was pre-Kluwe. No, that's Kluwe. Man, he was so polar. Yeah, because in 2010 he complained about the field conditions on TCF. But yeah, the Vikings have been playing with a bunch of fullbacks. They've got Kleinsasser and Dum Dum Dugan in a bunch. I mean, they also have like Vasanti Shenko, but like really they've got a lot of blocking tight ends, and they're playing with fullback in a lot of these plays. They've only got 2 wide receivers out there. It just looks completely foreign, especially with that fullback in there.
Oh, wow, Jeremy Shockey, there's a name.
He was an asshole, right?
Yeah, complete, 100%. Yeah. Not any judgment, or there's no way to judge him otherwise. Shockey was an ass.
Is that? Oh, it's Jasper Brinkley that got burned by Shockey. Well, nothing new under the sun, I guess. They really should have started Winfield as one of the 2 outside corners.
Oh. If we had time, we could go over the list of running backs that have played for the Saints since the 2009 season, but I'm afraid we would reach the end of the game at that point.
Yeah, there's only an hour and a half left in the game.
Yeah.
So. Oh, they got both backs on the field, right? No, they got both backs. This is before they like drafted Mark Ingram in the first round.
Like he's ours.
To be a committee back, yeah.
God, Breeze is so annoyingly good.
This matchup is, man, the Vikings are not. They're not figuring out how to do these matchups. Our pass defense was just
not ready for this.
Yeah, I mean, like Reggie Bush running just kind of a deep route, picked up in man by, is that Lieber? Yeah, that's Ben Lieber. He's just not capable of covering Reggie Bush on that route. Essentially an angle route. Yeah, that Vikings defense really just didn't match up well.
No.
They had this great defensive line. They had Chad Greenway and Antoine Winfield occasionally, although they should have started him. And that's about it, because that's Madu Williams and Tyrell Johnson at safety. They got Cedric Griffin and I guess Benny Sapp.
Yeah.
It's so wild that like they've got these like stupid notions about what a slot corner is. Not that Winfield wasn't even old at the time, he was, but like just start him. Like I know that forces them. I think in this situation the contract was such that it forced them to pay him a bonus if he started, and so his cap hit would basically double. But like obviously that's better than like trying to get Benny Sapp to consistently cover, Marcus Colston. Oh my God, they're getting diced.
Yeah. This was a quarterback duel. This was Favre going down the field, And then Breeze going, okay, well, let's let's change it up a bit. And then him just diving down the field. Look at the hold on Jared Allen.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
2 guys were holding Jared Allen on that one play.
Looks like there was some zone confusion on that, too. Probably Lieber should have moved back.
Oh, God. Leslie Frazier, drink. God, Pierre Thomas. Really? Okay, good tackle.
Is that Madu Williams?
Yes.
Way late to react.
Well, that and he saved the touchdown. So, I mean, what do you want?
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's out of all the things you're going to get out of Madu Williams, it was probably the best possible outcome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He was way late to react. He had no idea which gap he needed to. It's like they didn't have run fits.
Oh.
Oh, my God. That is just an awful
blatant hold.
Oh, my God.
And another touchdown. Devery Henderson.
He was really good in fantasy for a hot second.
Almost worth it. Favre knows he's going to have to go back out there, and he knows he's going to get hit in the face again.
Mm-hmm. That was just an absurd hold. Oh, Benny Sapp on the ground again.
Well, he got pushed down, yeah.
What a terribly officiated game. I mean, I know I'm, revealing all kinds of new truths, but...
In case you were also wondering, Favre is just getting beaten around. I don't know if anybody's noticed that yet. It's almost like he has a price on his head. Possibly in a literal sense.
I can't believe Harvin did that. That was so dumb.
Well, the ball is bouncing up in the air. I'm going to see if I can catch it.
Rebound it.
Yeah. He rebounded it, and then he made it back to the 20. So you got unnecessarily hit, which is kind of the story of his career. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, Breeze is just annoyingly good. I'm going to probably say that about 30 more times for the rest of this game, but man. 14-14, 10-22 in the second, 1st and 10 Vikings. Ball control is on the screen.
Despite sort of how many times Favre gets hit in this game, it really looks like Lodeholt was having a pretty good, at least up until the moment I'm talking anyway, was having a pretty good game. Favre just called a timeout. Must be the crowd noise. Or a look. I don't know, man. There's not that many interesting looks in most defenses in 2009. That Greg Williams defense must have just been super exotic.
Favre saw people counting money on the sideline.
He's like, wait.
Yeah, this was right around the time where Harvin was just coming into his own and was really starting to move out, and just when you just try to get him in space, no matter what, it was almost like what we wanted to do with Cordell Patterson, where you could just put him out in space and let everyone chase him.
Yeah, and just stuff would happen. Yeah.
So the Vikings saw what we did with Harvin a few years ago and kept pointing to Cordell Patterson, or Patterson going, why are we not doing that with him?
Right. Screen.
Beautiful screen.
Yeah.
Chester Taylor, after the Vikings, went to the Bears, the Cardinals, and someone else, I think.
Taylor played with both Adrian Petersons.
Can we show a replay on that? Sidney Rice somehow caught that in defiance of God's will. That was a laser.
Oof. Yeah, Favre wasn't really known for having a ton of touch. I think in the modern NFL they would call that not completing the process, right? Because he puts the ball on the ground and he gets up, even though it's clearly a catch.
What is a catch?
What is a catch? Back in my day, Pearson runs through a couple of people, does not get the first down. Maybe. Oh, it looks like they'll give it to him.
Well, the way Adrian Peterson's going, he's just going to have a great game all day.
Yeah.
Nothing terrible is going to happen as a result of Adrian Peterson.
It's just going to be, consistent, reliable, all the adjectives you normally associate with Adrian Peterson.
So we got a question from Christopher Wiley, who asked, simple question, which Vikings team was better, 2009 or 2017? Obviously, the offense of one is better than the other, but the defense of one is much better than the other. So which cancels out?
I think the 2017 defense is just incredible, right?
But we can stop a pass. Like, just watching this, we're being carved up.
Yeah, they're being dissected. And I think part of the problem with this 2009 defense is that it's very easy to diagnose. You know when it's zone, you know when it's man, you know who's matched up on who, and you know what those weaknesses are, because when they're in zone, there's not a bunch of diversity in coverages. It's like cover two almost every time they're in zone. It's even cover two a lot when they're in man, because they don't go to nickel a lot. And so they're getting carved up by, like you said, by Sean Payton and Drew Brees. I think that the thing is, so the Vikings have a pretty good statistical argument this year for being the best or second best defense in the NFL, depending on which statistics you use. They lead the league in points allowed per game. But it doesn't feel like this Vikings defense is like, the 2013, Seahawks or the 2000 Ravens or the 2015 Broncos or anything like that. It's just probably the best defense in the league. This offense, the 2009 offense, I want to say they were the third or second best behind this Saints team, but I think ahead of the Colts team that the Saints ended up playing against. But it definitely felt more capable, I think, than second or third. It felt like it would be in a lot of years the best offense in the NFL.
Peterson looks really upset to be taken out on third down here.
Oh, wow. Get used to it, buddy.
This will be a thing.
Took his helmet off too. I think he took his helmet off immediately while he was on, so he had to leave. I want to say this 2009 team was better. That just feels more. I think appropriate.
The defense of the 2009 team would be able to somewhat keep the offense of the 2017 team in check.
Yeah, I think so.
Because running on the Williams wall was a terrible idea. Teams tried it, and they failed.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably it's interesting because, the Vikings defensive line right now is obviously super talented. That 2009 team's defensive line, I think, was more productive that year relative to the rest of the league. It's just kind of sort of the back end, everything else, except Chad Greenway and Antoine Winfield. But obviously that's kind of the strength of the 2017 defense, is that it doesn't have, a weakness. And so you can go to that back end, look at Anthony Barr and Eric Hendricks. But yeah, I think it would probably do some damage given how one dimensional would turn the 2017 offense. I don't know. This is actually a pretty tough question. They both have the same record, right? I would say, I think it's the 2009 team, even though I think statistically, even when you adjust those statistics for the rest of the league, I think statistically the argument may be in favor of the 2017 team. I just have more, I guess, trust in the 2009 team to just gut out difficult situations, be multi-capable. Air it out.
Just make our corners pay. Make the 2017 corners pay. Just, well, you're going to be chasing this ball all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. And, obviously Trey Waynes has improved a lot this season, but I would not be surprised to see, a Bernard Berry and Trey Waynes matchup would be super funny for a lot of reasons. But if you ended up with Percy Harvin on Trey Waynes, the best tackling corner in the league this year, Percy Harvin, probably the best player in Vikings history at eluding tackles. I don't know. Kind of depends on how much credence you want to give one magical season. But I think Percy Harvin could probably break a bunch of Trey Waynes tackles.
Yeah.
I think Waynes is a good tackler in an era where cornerbacks are not great tacklers.
God, and Sidney Rice too. Yeah.
Yeah. Sidney Rice would probably lose a bunch of jump balls to Xavier Rhodes, but he'd get one or two with Favre throwing them to him.
Yeah.
I think
who matches up on Berrien then? Would it be Waynes or would it be someone else?
I think most of the time it'd be Waynes, and Percy Harvin versus versus Mackenzie Alexander or Terrence Newman, I think is a clear win for Harvin, even as a rookie.
Yeah. That speed is just terrifying.
Yeah, it's out of control. The real problem, I think, is that a Harrison Smith type player and a Mike Zimmer type defense would absolutely do a ton of damage to this offense. That's the thing. And I think
would make
the Vikings
Brett Favre pay for every mistake he was about to make. Oh,
right. Oh, wow.
Pat Williams with a monster stop.
And Jasper Brinkley is celebrating, though.
Well, Brinkley was next to the play, so he has a right to.
That's nice. Yeah, this is that's kind of
that was a
really
hit that shook the bones of Lionel's ancestors there. Oof. So, random question: how many appearances did Tavares Jackson have in the 2009 season?
Oh man,
how many games?
I'm gonna go with 3.
8. He appeared in 8 games. Nearly every single one of them, except for this one where he made an appearance at the end when Favre had to be taken off the field, was because we were winning by so many. He had 8 appearances. Or there was like a wildcat where he came out. 8 appearances in the 2009 season. Now the real question is, how many completed passes did he have in the 2009 season?
10.
14. He went 14 for 21.
All right. Good shout out of Deanna Favre. Oh man, the shit she's about to go through.
Deanna Favre. Let's remember a name. I think Favre actually knocked down the defender with the ball there. He threw it like 30 yards and knocked the defender down when it hit him right in the numbers.
That sounds like something he'd be proud of, and the coach is like trying to patiently explain that that's not the goal. I think you're right.
Because he was trying to get that into Shanko, and while Shanko is many things, elusive is not one of them. And the defender was right in front of him.
Was like trying to thread this triple coverage needle, and he ends up just knocking a player over instead.
It was almost like an NFL blitz thing there, just knocking over a defender by throwing the ball as hard as he could.
Man, Sullivan has like screwed up a couple of snaps in this game. I mean, Favre has just handled it really well, so you haven't really noticed it. But, that's interesting. Yeah, this Saints defense is doing like a bunch of different things. They like on the previous play that ended up with triple coverage, they end up dropping a defensive lineman and I think blitzing a corner. They just blitzed a safety on this play. It's so different from what the Vikings defense is in this game. 2 punts for 36.5 yards. Come on, Kluey. You're better than that a lot of the time. Also not a good punt. No,
not great. And it's not like there's, wind. This is in the Superdome.
Right.
So Mike Raver asks, do you have panic attacks anytime you see too many men in the huddle for the Vikings? Nearly picked.
Dropped interception. Oh, my God. Is that
Ben Lieber?
Oh, my God. Moments like that don't seem meteoric until later in retrospect.
Until how many years later when we're sitting here going, that could have been it, man. That could have.
Yeah, right. That could have been it. That could have been just put giving you the extra. It's already puts them basically in field goal position.
We're nearing the end of the second quarter, and I know what's coming at the end of the second quarter, and I'm already clinching up a bit. Oh, good for Jeremy Shockey. A terrible tight end. No, he's limping a bit. Good.
Good. And he's walking off the field.
Minnesota 14, New Orleans 14, 3:15 in the second. Nobody looks tired yet. Boy, Greenway just looks so young.
Yeah, he does. It's like his 4th year in the NFL, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, wow. Jared Allen was perfect.
Oh, so fast.
Yeah.
So what was the first touchdown of the year for the Minnesota Vikings this season?
First touchdown of the year. I mean, everyone remembers Greg Lewis, but that was San Francisco, and I think that was week 3.
That was week 3. You are correct.
And that was obviously the end of the game, too. Mm-hmm. First touchdown. Oh, man. Was it a defensive one? Maybe it's a Jared Allen fumble return?
Nope, it was an Adrian Peterson 1-yard rush against Cleveland. But this is also the season that started with Adrian Peterson tossing a human being.
Oh, yeah, that Cleveland game was fantastic.
That was fun to watch. Oh, they drew us offsides. Nope. They tried to do it, and they didn't call it.
Almost. Who was it? Was that Jared Allen that almost...
That's not where Jared Allen typically lines up.
Yeah, but, it's a goal line package.
Yeah.
I think it was a white guy, though, so... I don't know.
2-minute warning.
How do you delay a game at the 2-minute? That doesn't make any sense at all.
They didn't. The clock hit 2 minutes right as it was.
Oh, okay.
Right as it was.
So officiating has always been weird.
Yeah,
great.
As it turns out, at least they're not going to give them like 6 extra touchdowns.
Oh,
whoa!
Well, at least they threw that flag. Jesus Christ!
They didn't give them six extra timeouts. So it's a muffed fair catch.
Darius Raynaud. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, Raynaud catches it and then gets smoked after the whistle. Yeah, personal foul. The crowd goes crazy booing.
Right,
like
because
they haven't been seeing it all game.
Right. Well, I mean, it's the same. It's the New Orleans crowd, right? And obviously, Raynaud gives himself up, but the crowd is like, yeah, he wasn't down. He wasn't touched down. And it's just like, dude, he's kneeling. Like, what do you want?
Second personal foul on the Saints so far this game will not be the last. Sidney Rice out there trying in these streets.
Favre's off in this game. Like, I think at this point he's got like a 66% completion rate. Oh, it was Kevin Williams. I was wrong. It wasn't a white guy at all. But yeah, Favre definitely like feels off in this game. Like I mean, obviously, it's his laser arm is still a laser arm, but the ball placement just seems like it wasn't completely there, and players aren't really helping him out too much.
Are you blaming that on Favre, or are you blaming that on this just really good defense?
No, it's definitely the injuries. No, I think it's the injuries. I think they're showing up. Like, because I think that...
They show up more and more as the game goes on for obvious reasons.
Yeah. But, like, it really does feel like... I mean, the ball is coming out as quick as it ever does, but it's like they're in odd places, and the receivers aren't, like, kind of doing their part to make up for it.
Okay, Jonathan Vilma's on the screen. It's 1:44 left in the second. 3rd and 9. Minnesota and New Orleans tied at 14. We are on our 33, trying to march. Favre really just wanted that snap. He is smoked again. Oh, this is getting difficult. This is what I was expecting.
Yeah, Bernard Berry with another tough catch, though.
Yeah. Pay that man. But not in Minnesota dollars. If you're going to pay him in Minnesota dollars, can you pay him in like electronic pull tabs? Can we do that?
Yeah, right. They're a great investment.
We have plenty of those. We're on our 46. Terrible throw to Sidney Rice.
Under pressure, but yeah. Do they not have the timeout tracker? Oh, there it is. Yeah, they don't in the NFL Fox 2009 doesn't have the timeouts right underneath the team names. They have to like flip the chyron to tell you how many timeouts are left.
Yeah, exactly. It's uncivilized is what I want to say.
Barbaric.
Barbaric against God in today's society? Unbelievable.
Why'd the Saints call a timeout?
Stop the clock?
I mean, yeah, I understand what timeouts do, James.
Well, no, to stop the clock because it's 1:30 left and it's third down for the Vikings.
I guess they expect the ball back. I don't know. I would have let it run and then used all the timeouts on the drive back.
Yeah, 3rd and 9.
Just in case the Vikings converted. Doesn't matter. We know what happens.
Oh. All those dirty Saints fans.
Look at those monsters.
Favre trying to direct traffic. Chester Taylor in motion. Chester Taylor with a good block.
Favre another pump fake and overthrows. Yeah. Rough.
That was just a bit outside of where Berrien could reach, or any human
a
being.
Bit outside.
Yeah. Andre the Giant couldn't have caught that ball.
See what I mean?
Wonderful
like he's
sail.
Clearly not. Oh, it hit his hand?
Yeah.
It would have been an easy completion. You're right, Buck.
No, that was Aikman making that wonderful astute. Oh. And that's why you play to the whistle. So it was a muffed kick return. A muffed punt.
Heath Farwell, future Seahawk.
Yeah. Vikings came up with it.
Who's 55? Onatolu. Kenny Onatolu?
Kenny Onatolu. Just hit.
And, special teams ace Eric Frampton.
Yeah.
Look at that.
He smoked Bush. And now...
Be careful what kind of accusations you throw out there smoking Bush, man. We don't know anything about Eric Frampton.
He's
not
what?
Jerome Simpson, man.
Absolutely right. He hasn't mailed any pot to himself or anything.
Yeah, so Bush barely secures it, and Frampton just nails the ball, and then Reggie.
It's okay, Reggie. It's not your fault. Favre starts on the 10, 1:13 left in the second quarter. 1st and goal. And Peterson.
Now that they're inside the 10, they want to drain the clocks. They're giving the ball to Peterson.
Peterson makes it 5 yards. Oh, I don't like seeing this. There's such happiness on the sidelines.
Did the Saints call a timeout, or did he go out of bounds?
No, he went out of bounds.
All right.
They're showing Reggie Bush getting hit again. Well, you really can't see that enough. I might need to see that 3 or 4 more times before I go to bed. Oh, there's another.
It's just so bad when a team fumbles in critical territory.
It is. It truly is. It was a timeout from New Orleans. Okay.
More sense.
Hi, Chris Myers.
Is Chris Myers a sideline reporter at this point in his career?
Yeah.
Huh. Grew up to be a terrible broadcast announcer.
He was better than Mike Goldberg, but many.
Let's not raise the bar too high here, James.
You just call everyone by the wrong name here.
So they're going to give the ball to Peterson, and he's going to score a touchdown.
This is going to go perfectly.
It's great.
There goes Peterson, and he fumbles it, and the Saints recover. He fumbles it at the snap. Fujita, there's a name.
Yeah. He's a radio guy now.
Well, Reggie Bush feels better now. He still doesn't have the Heisman, but...
So this fumble is attributed to, in the box score, to Brett Favre. Even though it is very obviously Adrian Peterson's fault.
Yeah, he was thinking about everything but getting the ball secure there. Favre is on the ground, hand just I was gonna say face palming.
It's like he knows, right? Man, so this is one of the things that always bothered me about the narrative surrounding Jared Allen. It wasn't until I want to say 2013 that Jared Allen actually started being pretty poor against the run. Like he was pretty underrated against the run, I think, as a defensive end in his time with the Vikings, all the way up through his near record setting / should be a record.
Should be
2012. I think it was 2012, right? No, 2011 season.
2011, yeah. It was the only really good thing about that season.
Yeah. But Jared Allen was pretty good against the run. He just never got credit for it. And then he started seeking sacks, I think, after that 2011 season.
Yeah. So it's now halftime. 14-14, Minnesota, New Orleans, and they are off to kick it. Longwell kicks it deep. And Roby is returning it, so that is where we are at. 14-58, 57, 56, 55.
How is that not a tackle?
Oh, God. This is Asher Allen. Tackles him at the 36. At the Vikings 36. That was a hell of a return.
That should have been a tackle at the 25. Like I'm so shocked that Roby was able to break that tackle. Yeah, see?
Yeah, he just pinballed his way out of that.
Penalty flag, huh?
There was no penalty flag. It just fell out. It was as a result of that pinball play from Roby.
Hey, Greg Lewis missing a tackle there too. Oh man. Funny thing about Asher Allen, I was talking to who was it? It was one of those like undrafted free agent cornerbacks that's always like a good story. I think his name was like Bobby something. And I was asking him, who he's modeling his game off of. And he said Asher Allen had the best footwork of any cornerback that he's been on a team with. Asher Allen.
That's, I would not have expected that.
Yeah, I was surprised. And I asked him, who's the best defensive coach not on the team that you worked with? And he said Greg Williams. I was just like, I can't print this article.
I just imagine you're Brian from Family Guy going, we're done here.
Yeah, right. So that's interesting. Chad Greenway gives it the play and Madu Williams saves it. That's like a combination of things you didn't expect.
Not the order I would have expected that sentence to be in, no.
Man, they're really targeting that middle of the field.
Mm-hmm. We have no defender in the middle of the field that's able to make a play. Pierre Thomas again guts us for 7.
See,
that's 5.
I compliment Jared Allen for his run defense, and then when these things happen.
Well, I mean, you've clearly learned never to compliment players.
Yeah, that's what's driven my hot take machine over the past couple of years. It's learning that when I compliment players,
bad things happen. This is why we can't have nice things. Okay. So they're lined up at the 9. Breeze hands it off. And there goes Pierre Thomas to the goal line for a touch. They're going to give it to him? Yeah, they're going to give it to him. Touchdown. Minnesota 14, New Orleans 20, 12:56 left in the third quarter. Touchdown, New Orleans.
I don't know why the Vikings were confused about that. They put another offensive lineman onto the field as an extra tight end.
That couldn't have been more obviously a run if Breeze was actually holding a sign that said run before he snapped the ball.
Yeah, that's on Madu Williams again. He just has no idea where he wants to line up. It's so ridiculous.
Get it together, Medio.
God.
I like how we're watching the extra point intently, like it mattered at this point
right.
in NFL history. Like there was some sort of gamble. No, there was not. They're now claiming that it should not have been a touchdown and that it should have been reviewed, which would not be a rule until years later.
Right. And it's not like that would have been worth it to throw a challenge flag.
No, you would have been at the goal line, and Thomas would have just gutted you again.
Right.
Oh, now they're showing it. Thank you.
You really don't need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's way the hell down. He's 2 yards off.
You have two refs there. You have the ref at the goal line. You have the ref right next to the play. How is that not... whatever.
Yeah, maybe the Vikings would have stopped it at the 2. That sucks. It sucks that that's like a bad use of a challenge flag.
Yeah. Favre 15 for 26 so far.
So after they showed him at 14 for 21, he only made one of the next 5. Oof. I think he got hit again.
That's possible. Rice just had a decent reception. Yeah, setting up again. You saw in the last play that the safety for the Saints was just calling the shot. This is what it's going to be, and Favre still burned them for 10. Adrian's just gonna keep struggling there. Oh
God! Breaks 3 tackles to get to the 3, maybe 3 yards, possibly 2.
Okay, Kenneth Allen asked this question. Do you think the Vikings win against the Colts if they make it past this game?
No. Do
you think we would have done it with injury or without injury?
I think the Vikings win that game if both teams are healthy. I think this beat Favre up so badly that it wouldn't have won the game.
Oh, gorgeous pass to Shanko.
Schlanko.
For one glorious season, Shanko was very useful for us.
It was really good. We get like 10, 12 touchdowns that year.
Yeah. Shanko was just amazing. And little reported story, during this particular season, he went to the Minnesota State Fair and adopted a cow.
What? Really?
Yeah, he adopted a cow, and it was the very early days of Twitter, and I used to... he would hold like little another Peterson fumble. Oh, did we recover this one? Favre is motioning even though he is 5 yards from.
Looks like they're reporting that the Vikings recovered it.
Oh,
I'm kind of surprised the Vikings recovered it. There were like 3 Saints to the right away.
Yeah, that might have been Tahi that got it.
Oh. Good old dependable Tahi. Doesn't make a mistake for the rest of the game.
No. Just bounces right out.
Oh, gosh.
So in the very early days of Twitter, Shanko used to give tickets out on Twitter. And so you'd just reply to his message and he would reply back. And sometimes it would be trivia. Sometimes it would be, hey, meet me here. But he had put the cow picture. Oh, nice Shanko catch again. He had put a picture of the cow on Twitter and said, "This is mine. I'm taking it home today." And the city pages reported it. Strib reported it. Yeah, he bought a cow at the Minnesota State Fair.
What was he gonna do with it?
I don't know, but I'll give you the link to add in the show notes.
Yeah,
because Shanko bought the cow. This was shortly after Shanko accidentally exposed himself on national TV. No fault of his own, really, although he was in a room full of cameras.
I guess he figured that they would be careful.
Fox is willing to blur my leg.
So that second Peterson fumble didn't end up being too costly, given that they ended up getting a first down on that series anyway.
Yeah.
They still pulled him from the field, though.
Well, yeah, they had to rub his nose in it a little bit, put Chester Taylor back out there. Was that Roval?
What do you mean?
White guy with the headset. That was next to Adrian Peterson. They are changing out Adrian Peterson's gloves and taping his arms.
That is hilarious.
3rd and 2. Favre rolls out. Oh,
that is a bold 3rd and 2 call.
Shanko.
Shanko was so good, man.
Shanko in this particular season was just money. Look at that. Just can we show the replay? There's the replay. Gets open. He's getting held. His jersey.
Did they not throw the flag on that? That's a pretty bad hold.
He did not catch that right away, too. That bounced off of his hands, and then he got in the breadbasket. Whew. Yeah, you can see the tattered jersey. The tattered jersey of Visanthe Shanko, which I feel like should be a band name for the Turf Club. And Peterson finds his way in for the touchdown. Did not fumble it that time. I really enjoyed Shanko. Darn shame that he accomplished not much when he went to New England.
Yeah, the Vikings got him from the Giants originally, right?
Yes, and actually, Shanko is not even from the U.S. Shanko is from the U.K.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Kind of like Osi Umenyiora.
It was Tahi. They are crediting Tahi with the savior, with the saving of that series by falling on the grenade that Adrian dropped on the ground. Meanwhile, Adrian is on the bench at the moment since the defense is out, and he is gripping a football to save his life.
That's so funny.
Oh, Breeze gets hit. Gets rid of it, though.
A great hit from Allen.
Ben Lieber and Jared Allen met at the quarterback there.
Yeah, I don't know if people talked about how weirdly skinny Jared Allen always looked.
He looked really skinny that last year here. Like the year that he cut his hair. And there's the year he cut his hair, he looked really skinny. And then he had one more year in Minnesota, and he didn't look right.
Yeah.
You know, people compared it to the whole Samson thing of, you cutting your hair and losing your powers, but it might have been justified in this particular instance.
Right.
They're already foreshadowing that this may come down to the foot of a place kicker.
Bastards.
Kyle Slabby asks, if you could go back in time and choose a championship from 2009, but this year would end in a tragic loss, would you do it? Or would you keep the 2009 the same and win it with this current squad?
Definitely win it in the home stadium. Absolutely. Especially because I would rather Mike Zimmer have a ring than Brad Childress. It's weird that it would be Brett Favre that has them, and I don't really hold much ill will towards Favre or anything like that.
No.
But it'd be weird if it's like Favre. Like, I'd much prefer it to be Keenum over Favre having like that Vikings ring. As like, even if like Keenum, it turns out they don't want to re-sign him and like they deal for him or whatever, or he ends up dropping off the next year, whatever. It just feels, I think, better that it's Keenum instead of Favre. So,
how do you feel about the idea of Brett Favre blowing the horn for the NFC Championship game?
100% for it.
Yeah, I am 100% for it as well. You're already going to be able to hear that stadium from space, but I feel like it would just add just a little bit more for Brett Favre to be out there and to blow it.
Yeah.
4th and 9, and they are going to punt. Vikings are going to receive. Don't catch it at the 1. They teach you that on the first day. Do not take a kickback.
Why is Adrian Peterson returning kicks again? Like, I thought we were done with that.
I don't know.
I thought they stopped doing that in 2007. I do remember, like, occasionally, like, I think even in 2012 they gave him one kick return at like a crucial juncture of the game, but
even that was just weird.
Yeah, it was weird. I thought he was done with that after his rookie year for the most part.
Okay, it is 6 minutes left in the third quarter, 2nd and 3. Minnesota 21, New Orleans 21. The Vikings are at their own 17. Oh, and there's another Peterson fumble. He fumbled forward, and the Vikings have it.
But he got it.
That must have gone forward at least 10 yards. Oh, man.
You gotta probably stop giving him the ball at this point, right?
Oh, there's his third drop. That was pretty clutch of him to be able to, get
to
it
fall back on. Yeah,
good for him. Meanwhile, another shot of Rosenfels. Drink. The Vikings are at the 32. Yeah, you keep the ball away from Peterson for a little bit anyway.
I think Peterson's on the bench. I think that was Chester Taylor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on the bench, I guess, figuratively speaking. He's on the sideline.
Yeah.
It says 2 fumbles today, but really it means 3.
Yeah, that was 3. Oh.
Yeah, he threw that ball before his knee went down. That's incredible. The fact that he was able to get back up and get to the ball is actually kind of astounding.
Kleinsasser basically doing an Oklahoma drill there.
Yeah.
Kleinsasser was on that thing quick. Adrian got it. Oh, Kleinsasser in motion?
Yeah. And he laid it in a pretty good block, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get Kleinsasser in motion. It'll reveal the defense, right?
The man is a lethal weapon. Jim Kleinsasser is the lethal weapon. Pride of the University of North Dakota.
Represent.
Back when they played at Memorial Stadium, outdoors instead of inside of a glorified barn.
I totally forgot that Hutch got injured.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Favre had no time. And a flag. And Favre is hurt. Favre is not happy. That's either his rib or his hand. They showed Deanna. Why do you show the wife? I have no problem with showing wives, but after an injury, why?
Yeah, right.
That was driving. That was one.
Yeah.
For all the things that Packers fans were upset at Barr for, that's what driving really looks like.
Right. And in the pocket. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's his ribs.
Yeah. There was a lifting of Brett Favre.
Yeah, everyone hates, Buck and Aikman, but they really are on Favre's side in this game.
Yeah. Aikman was trying to say that, the hit was legal, and meanwhile Joe Buck is going, yeah, well, he was lifted, and the playback clearly shows that.
Well, there's no question that in the 2017 NFL, that'd be called 9 out of 10 times. Right, and that's another difference with the Anthony Barr versus Aaron Rodgers thing, right? Is that they were both in motion and there was no lifting and driving. That one, he was clearly lifted.
Vikings first down, second down and 20, second down and 11, and another catch for Berrien. First down.
If they give him, it looks like they're giving him forward progress.
3:10 in the third.
That throwing motion is just so whack.
I just want to see the Sunday Night Football color throw of his, just to see just how weird his motion is. But
the tracer.
Yeah. Man, Favre would get set, and that thing would just go as fast as possible. Still no Adrian Peterson. We got Chester Taylor out there.
Peterson looks
like he wants to whip somebody. Yeah,
very ready. Okay, yeah, sure. Another way to put it. I was thinking, Peterson, was eagerly anticipating, playing. I think that's what he looks like.
Suppose he looks ready to do something terrible and then sit out the rest of the year. What were you doing, Favre? Interception.
I think a submarine throw, too, to get that interception.
That should have been a worm burner, and Favre is down and hurt. Favre's ankle is a problem.
He's ripping multiple parts of his body. Yeah. His
Quit
ankle,
showing
I think, is
his wife.
Again. Oh, my God. Oh, wow.
Favre is getting helped off the field.
Yep.
They went low and high.
Is that was illegal in 2009, wasn't it?
It was.
Good God.
And they are cutting off his sock, and he is in pain. Yeah, he got hit high and low at the same time there. That is a very white foot.
Yeah.
Ugh, that was an ugly pick. That looked like it was supposed to be a McNabb worm burner. I forgot about that hit.
Yeah.
Don't show... Oh, they're showing it again. So who's at fault here?
Phil Lodeholt, and it looks like Brian McKinney and Phil Lodeholt. McKinney doesn't pick up the stunt, and Lodeholt's just too slow. Like, nothing, like, schematically interesting on Lodeholt's side. He just couldn't pick up the
terrible throw.
Terrible throw, terrible decision, awful protection.
Yeah, they just said Favre's been hit 11 times so far in this game. We are not out of the third.
There's just so many, like, points in this game that if just one thing had gone differently, it's so weird to 11 out of 35. Jesus. But yeah, it's just so like weird to watch it and be like, oh, it's a game of inches. If that had just gone that way, they're showing the wife again. If that had just gone, just slightly differently, the entire outcome of the game would be different.
Yeah.
Oh, the Vikings are actually blitzing? No, they're not blitzing. Never mind. Ball start.
All right, so it is 21-21 with 37 seconds left in the third quarter. The New Orleans Saints just got called for a false start. Third down. Chris Myers. I almost expected his sock to be bloody there. Like Kurt Schilling, eat your heart out.
Yeah, I was about to say Brett Schilling, huh?
Yeah. Oof. He's gonna go back out.
That's who he is.
This is where the magic of Favre starts to fade. That one moment is kind of where it all goes to hell.
Who nearly was that? Did Cedric Griffin nearly get an interception? Was he close?
He was close on that. Meacham was. That was actually just a bad throw on the part of Breeze here too.
Yeah, Cedric Griffin really could have. If he just had his hands out, he was not expecting that ball to get near him.
No.
Which, I mean, I guess that's not an incredibly meaningful interception. It would have saved like 20 yards of field position.
Yeah.
But it was on third down, so it's not, I guess, awful. Fair catch, really?
Yeah. All right, so it's the end of the third. Brett Favre is just coming out. 15 minutes left in the fourth. There's a little bit of cheering.
Got Harvin in the backfield, and he gets the handoff. And he gets the first
10.
down.
Harvin for 11.
Yeah.
So Don from Ohio asks if you could put one player from the 2017 team on the 2009 team, who would it be?
Maybe Harrison Smith or Xavier Rhodes. Like, I think I've been talking a lot about the secondary. So when I first saw that question, I was like, oh, that's tough. You know, Thielen or Diggs would instantly improve the receiving core, but that's not really the thing. Especially just the offense in general, the passing offense. That's not the thing.
No, the offense is fine. Despite the fact that we have Berrien out there, we have Harvin, we have Sidney Rice, and another fumble.
This time it's
and it's still going,
fumble.
and the Saints recover.
Rami Iodell, did he ever end up playing for the Vikings? Maybe
I do not know.
I think he might have.
But this is yet another fumble. Oh man, and Favre is still moving slowly.
Percy Harvin didn't fumble that often in his career, did he? Despite like the extraordinarily high number of running back carries he got. I don't remember that being a thing for Percy. Oh yeah, there was a player named Will Smith. Oh shit, he's dead. Oh, I totally just remembered that. Oh no.
Well, there's that. Oh.
Jeez.
That's the 5th fumble for the Vikings this game.
And they hadn't given Adrian Peterson any snaps since that 3rd fumble either.
No.
And they still... This is like one of those games of Madden, right? Where they're just like intent on you losing no matter what you do.
the computer says no. Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what this is.
Okay, so back to the question about which player would you put on the 2009 team?
So, yeah, it's tough. I think that Harrison Smith would be a more impactful player kind of in general. But I think the way Leslie Frazier was running this defense, he'd just be massively underutilized. And so you probably want Xavier Rhodes because he can function in a cover 2 pretty easily. Mm-hmm. That said, Madu Williams was a big problem in this game. So, maybe Harrison Smith really would be the difference.
So
also, Tyrell Johnson with a tackle for the loss.
That was an impressive move. So Tyrell Johnson would be out and Harrison Smith would be in.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But I think Harrison Smith's the more important player for the current defense. But I think Xavier Rhodes is probably a better pick. I think maybe if you get Eric Hendrickson there instead of Ben Lieber, like you're probably in a good spot, and a lot of the stuff that happened in the first half wouldn't have happened. Mm-hmm. But I really think that Xavier Rhodes is probably the better pick.
Somebody said Latavius Murray, and I just wanted to slap him. It's like, I mean, you could. You shouldn't.
Would cut down the offense, right?
Oh, out of bounds. That's at the 1.
A really good play by Tyrell Johnson. Look at that.
Yeah, well, see, we're talking about replacing him and see what he does. All right, it's at the inch line now.
So that is a catch then.
Well, it's a catch. He just didn't get the touchdown. Reggie Bush.
What a great play.
Well, what is a catch?
That might actually be a touchdown. I don't remember the outcome of this play. I think that's probably a touchdown.
He broke the plane. Touchdown.
Wow, that challenge was super quick. Oh, wait, it's YouTube. They cut out all in between. Okay. Yeah.
I was like, wow. I was shocked to see this entire thing was on the NFL's YouTube channel. I was like, all right, well, if I ever need to, not sleep, I can watch this.
They also have that entire 2009 Super Bowl, Saints versus Colts.
Yep, that's the up next on autoplay, yeah. Ugh.
Oh, man, they've got the Patriots-Rams Super Bowl up, too. That's really cool.
Yeah. What I was going to do was try to sync up these two things, and then we could post up both videos on the Daily Norseman with like a YouTube doubler. But the way that the NFL has this set up for rights on YouTube is that you can only watch
You can only watch it on YouTube.com.
You can't watch it through YouTube doubler or anything. So
right, because they've disabled embedding and stuff.
Yeah. I was like, otherwise that would have been perfect.
I don't know why they would do that, though, because I don't actually know why most people disable embedding when they do, because it doesn't change the amount of ad revenue you get because the ads are still like baked in. You still get ads on embedded YouTube videos.
They're just trying to be as difficult as possible.
Classic NFL style.
Still no Heisman. God, he had time too. Look at all the time that Breeze had. There was no one near Breeze when he tossed that either.
Yeah. I take back what I said about having a good play by Tyrell Johnson. Terrible play, Tyrell Johnson. What were you thinking? We're replacing you. Harrison Smith wouldn't have had that happen.
Who would you take from this team and put on the 2017 team? And it cannot be Favre.
Can it be Adrian? That's not a terrible pick. Like, I understand we're watching a game where he fumbles the ball like 4 times, so like it's not killing at the moment.
I mean, like, Chester Taylor is also an option, but
but like everyone knows I love McKinnon, and I think Murray's kind of underrated by the Vikings fan base. But like a 2009 Peterson would really just ratchet up that offense.
Yeah,
I
like
think
all the moves that Murray makes, Adrian would do them 2 times quicker.
Right. And like you could go like super.
Oh, just like that.
Wow,
just like that.
Exactly that. Oh, good time for the question.
And gets taken to the woodshed on that hit on the sidelines too.
By the hardest hitting safety in the league.
he's the hardest something. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's doing hard time. That's all we got to think about.
Thankfully, yes.
But God, what a move. Yeah, you just can't. I guess it's just impossible to have this discussion. Like, oh, he's fumbled the ball 3 times. Probably bench him, and you're like, but it's Adrian.
It's Adrian Peterson.
It is difficult
in 2009.
But yeah, I would probably pick Adrian Peterson, even though like, he's not fit for the modern NFL or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, he doesn't like need to be. I think in this context,
Favre nearly throws a pick.
Imagine if like someone had written basically the Case Keenum article I wrote, but on Favre.
Oh God!
Right? Like, although I don't think he was doing like the same stuff. It's just it happens to be this game where he's doing all the like with the dropped interceptions and near picks and stuff. Oh my God!
If that ball had been tossed any softer, Greer would have taken that away.
Any touch, that would have been a huge problem.
No. I'm just surprised Greer wasn't knocked down on the force of that throw.
Yeah, right. Like, was it Scott Shanley earlier?
Yeah. Ugh. Favre is not accurate at the moment. Saints want a flag and Vikings want a flag. Neither of you are getting it.
What do the Saints want a flag for? Intentional grounding? People know.
Yeah, they wanted intentional grounding, and meanwhile, Chester Taylor was right there.
I don't know what they're...
Oh, nobody.
Oh, yeah, Taylor's... Oh, okay, yeah, so that can't be intentional grounding.
Load Holt let that one through.
Yeah, well, huge shock, I guess. Load Holt in 2000... That's Load Holt's rookie year, too, right? Because with the first-round pick was Harvin, and the second-round pick was Load Holt.
10. Oh, Barry with
another tough catch.
Oh man,
I love that in this game, Sidney Rice is the inconsistent one, and Berrien's like the reliable contested catch guy.
Exactly.
Look at him coming back for the ball.
That was with hands. That had a degree of difficulty. That
was pretty poorly thrown, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. That was caught in spite of Brett Favre. So it is 21-28, 10-31, 10-30, 10-29. 1st and 10. Adrian Peterson for 3. 5,801 career postseason pass yards.
Just postseason yards. That's incredible.
Oh, God.
Adrian Peterson out wide. Yeah, you're really going to trick some people.
Doesn't even look at him. Oh, and another fumble by the Vikings.
So is that
another fumble? Right at this point, I was near screaming at the TV. I believe I actually heard my mom drop an F-bomb at this point.
2017, that's an incomplete pass.
Oh. Jonathan Vilma. There's a scumbag.
How many turnovers the Vikings have in this game? Like if you count all the fumbles as turnovers instead of like only the ones that were lost.
Berrien made the play. That's a football move. Yeah, that's still a fumble in 2017.
I don't know. I think in 2017 it should be a fumble and it's another incomplete catch.
Oh man, this is what I was worried about. Brad Childress just goes back to not showing any emotion.
They actually had good catch rules in 2000. Like I don't understand why they moved away. Like it's not that hard.
I like how they just showed both Berrien and Adrian Peterson on the sidelines. At the same time, like Adrian's going, "It's okay, man. Everybody fumbles."
So it's 4 official turnovers, but there was like 2 or 3 fumbles from the Vikings that
2 fumbles that the Vikings recovered so far.
So it's God, it's just a cavalcade of errors.
This hurts. This is only going to get worse from here.
Is this the drive with the fake pass interference on Lieber?
I may have blocked that out. I actually don't know off the top of my head.
Oh, wow. I thought Jared Allen deflected that pass.
Yeah. Okay. This is
an unusually little pass rush from this Vikings team.
Yeah, considering the hard hitters we have on this offensive line or this defensive line.
And like I know that because this New Orleans team has Jermon Bushrod and Zach Strief. I don't know who fumble.
And now New Orleans has fumbled it, and New Orleans gets a first down. There's a lot ado about nothing here. So it's 4th and inches now. Almost a butt fumble.
Oh, yeah, they had Jari Evans on their team, too. So that's probably why. That's a really good offensive line.
Oh, boy.
Oh, wow, it was nearly a second fumble. Did you see that?
Yep. So the Saints are challenging as to whether or not this is a first down.
It does not look like it was a first down because the ball's not past the line marker.
No.
Oh my God, he was physically dragged back. That is a great move.
Oh, good. New Orleans lost a challenge.
Props to whichever Viking decided to physically pick up Drew Brees and move him backwards.
Okay, I missed that the first time I watched this. So yeah, that was entertaining as hell. This is a Vikings team that had so many sacks in the regular season and just was not able to do that in this New Orleans game. Jared Allen had 14.5 sacks in the season. Ray Edwards had 8.5. Like we were able to get to the quarterback. Oh, Adrian is working his heart out.
Yeah, still holding that ball like a loaf of bread, though.
Mm-hmm. All right, Vikings are on hour 48, hour 47, attempting to march. 7:21, 7:20, 7:19. Favre back.
Yeah, it's another drop from Sidney Rice.
That looked well defended. I don't know if I would put that on Sidney Rice.
Oh, that's fair. A lost contested catch, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, perfect one to Shenko.
Go.
Shenko tosses the defender off of him and gets a smack on the bum from Childress and his playbook. Son's blessed. Oof. That was, yeah, I do like a nice stiff arm from Shenko.
Yeah. 4 catches for 83 yards. What a great game for him. And no one else.
And no. and he didn't put the ball on the ground. That's the important stat that's kind of being ignored here.
Favre is wasting all his time with these shoulder fakes, man.
If I fake one more time, I'm gonna get a guy free. Can we talk about these jerseys? I love this jersey.
Yeah, this is a great jersey.
The white, the purple. I had an Adrian Peterson in this scheme that I appear to have lost in one of the many moves in my life.
Oh, no. That sucks.
So it's just a great color for the jersey.
I think this was before John Sullivan was good. I think like after the season, heading into the 2010 season, during that offseason, he said he was injured.
Oh my God, Adrian. He nearly lost the ball again. Adrian was pissed because he thought he was seeing daylight.
Yeah, he thought he saw it. Yeah, I think he slipped, and so he's pissed at himself for slipping. But yeah, John Sullivan, I think he headed into that 2010 offseason saying he was injured all season, and everyone was like, yeah, okay, buddy, sure.
Yeah.
And then then after that, he turned into a really good center.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just slipped on that cut.
Yeah, put Adrian Peterson on the 2017 Vikings. Hoff.
It doesn't matter that this Adrian can't really pass block and not a great catcher. I think
no, he caught plenty of balls. He caught over. Oh, and there's a flag. Are we gonna go to the one? Yes. Pass interference on the defense. We're going to the one.
So clutch, Bernard Berrien. I actually am not super confident that should be PI, but whatever.
All right, I just checked the stat. 436 yards receiving for Adrian Peterson during this season.
Not well. That's
all right, here, hold on. Penalties for yards. Minnesota 2 for 10. The Saints 9 for 88.
Oof.
I'm confident they're going to hit 100 yards by the end of the game, if not more. We have 5:33 left in the fourth.
Yeah, I think this Adrian would really juice up the offense in a big way. I think that's the best. I mean, you could be like, pick Steve Hutchinson and replace, Jeremiah Searles, and I get that, but I think Adrian would be more impactful.
We're at the 2, we're at the 1. I don't fumble Adrian. Just get in there.
He's in.
Touchdown Vikings.
And because it's Longwell, they'll actually make this extra point. So really, it's a tie game. Can't see anything going wrong.
Minnesota 27, New Orleans 28, 4:58 in the fourth remaining. Touchdown Minnesota. Let's see Adrian pop in here. Boy, that hole just barely existed. Was that Herrera? 64.
It's a little bit Herrera. There's a little bit. Yeah, 64 is Herrera.
Yeah, Herrera solidified the hole.
Yeah.
And we're tied. As a companion piece to this podcast, you should really read the Sage Rosenfels article about
Player Tribune.
Yeah, about how I don't even think it was the Players Tribune. I think it was an SI article.
Oh, you might be right. Yeah.
Yeah, about this specific game, and all the hits that Favre took, and just watching him deal with life during this game. It's actually the reason I reached out to him this today. It was just because of that great article.
Yeah, it is really good.
4:58 left in the fourth, and we are tied, about to kick off. There's the whistle.
I have to imagine for like people who aren't fans of either team that this game must have been just majestic to watch.
Just a heavyweight fight.
Yeah.
Just body shot after body shot. Look at that time of possession. Minnesota 34, New Orleans 20. 74 plays to
429 yards.
Oh.
God. Yeah, we got a question, something along the lines of, how much better were the Vikings than the Saints in this game, given that it was close despite like the 4 or 5 turnovers.
Right.
And you take a look at a lot of these statistics, and it really does feel like it's lopsided. But I mean, I'm watching the game, and it doesn't actually feel like the Vikings, sans those turnover plays, are massively outplaying the Saints.
No.
It just feels like the Saints are just, when they score, they're scoring quickly. And it just happens to sometimes be on short fields. And
Breeze fumbled.
Look at that. I think they rule it an incomplete pass. Oh, no, it's a fumble. Jerry Evans recovers.
Just everybody's dropping balls.
That counts as a sack then. Ray Edwards.
Yep.
Oh, wow, what a play.
That was a great play.
Taps the ball. Oh, wow.
Got the hand that was holding it perfectly. Got to see the stupid smirk on Breeze's face go away for just a moment. God, he's annoyingly good. Did they just talk about somebody playing with a sprained knee? Meanwhile, Favre is playing with a sprained everything.
Right. Cracked ribs, fake ankle.
It's titanium. It's the thing they use on the space shuttle. New legs, Lieutenant Dan. New legs. God, every time I see Leslie Frazier, I just want to hit something.
This is back when everyone was pretty happy with him too, and like we're watching this defense get like carved up, and we're like, yeah, Leslie Frazier, Carl Dunbar, wow. Before I think he was forced to leave the Vikings for, I think, sexual assault. And then he ended up with the Jets. So obviously terrible.
Oh, nice catch, but short of the first.
But as a defensive line coach, he was astoundingly good, which is why he ended up on the Jets. He ended up coaching. I think he ended up getting Sheldon Richardson and Muhammad Wilkerson. I think he left before Leonard Williams.
Yeah.
But he was probably as good as Andre Patterson for the Vikings is now.
So they're about to punt to Minnesota, 2:47, 2:46, 2:45, 2:44.
So the Vikings have the ball with like 3 minutes left in the game with Brett Favre. And, after having watched this entire season, right, it's impossible not to just believe in this drive.
It's absolutely impossible. After seeing what we did with the Ravens game, after seeing what we did with the 49ers, this is a team that's supposed to close this out. We won games we were supposed to win. And we are on our own 21. No gain for Adrian. Okay.
Despite running behind Kleinsasser and Lodeholt.
That's a lot of body there.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd be able to create a hole there, especially Kleinsasser. Man, his name just looks funny.
It does. It's like not built for jerseys.
No, that is a very Nordic name. And we're gonna go to the 2-minute warning.
I don't know if that's a wise decision.
I would have tried to play that
in your own territory. I feel like.
Total yards this quarter: Minnesota 105, New Orleans 24. That'll remain, in our favor.
Yeah, you're at your own 21. I wouldn't have let that run to 2 minutes.
You're getting a clock stoppage anyway. From shotgun, Adrian Peterson for 2.
They really want to drain the clock. They just have another run from me. Hey, what is happening? Because you're forcing a third and long, 152. That's just terrible play calling.
Yeah, and the Saints call a timeout, so it's 1:52 left in the fourth quarter. Minnesota with 3 timeouts and New Orleans with 1. They show Longwell on the sidelines as if he can kick a 90-yarder.
It's all on you, buddy.
Season long 52, career long 55. It would be a 90-yarder from here. But sure, let's just keep showing them.
So the clock management just squarely on Brad Childress, but I never know who to blame for the play calling in something like this, where Brett Favre keeps changing the plays that get called in. Mm-hmm. So you've like no idea if Brett Favre is calling it or if he's listening to Childress at this particular moment. Anyway, 3rd and 8. Vikings have 4 receivers. They're in shotgun. Chester Taylor's the back.
Favre to Berrien. Berrien makes a catch. Berrien makes it to the 34. And the clock is ticking.
Much giddy up. They're just kind of letting the clock do its thing. Man.
This is lazily just listing to the left. like
at least get into your opponent's territory before you start. And like I know they only need a field goal, but like get into your opponent's territory before you start like running the clock. And this is ridiculous.
It would have been nice if Berrien would have been able to get out of bounds, but he didn't have the ability to. He still had about 5 yards before he was going to be able to do that.
See, Minnesota finally takes that timeout. Took a couple of seconds before they put that in there.
Hey, it's Ziggy Wilf. He still looks like a Mario villain.
Yeah. Ziggy Wario.
Mm-hmm. All right, Favre, 1:39 left in the fourth. 1st and 10 from the Vikings 34. Favre drops back.
Classic. Greg Williams blitz.
Oh, a Sidney
Rice.
Nice.
They get into New Orleans territory. They're still not hurrying up. They're just relying on those timeouts. Or so. I don't know. I guess now that they're in the opponent's territory, they are letting things run.
Yeah.
But like barely, it's Ryan Longwell. He doesn't have like an enormous leg. I get it though, so
yeah,
it doesn't bother me that much.
So we hand off to Adrian, who to Chester Taylor, who burns them to the 32. Now,
I don't think they were expecting it.
Now you call a timeout.
I don't know, unless it's the Saints.
Oh,
right, because you only need like 5 more yards.
Vikings second timeout. Okay.
Now at this point, I would have let it run. Because they only need 5 more yards in that field goal. Like I know that like a touchdown is preferable, and maybe that's why they're managing the clock this way.
Mm-hmm.
But they held the Saints to 42 yards in this quarter.
Trust your defense.
Oh, it's this Saints.
Oh, it was the Saints. They're calling it for the Saints instead. Okay. Joe Buck had said it was Minnesota, and Joe Buck is never wrong. So the screen is telling me something that's very confusing.
Oh, look at that. Field goals this season, postseason, 59.4%.
19 for 32. We'll buck this, right? We'll be fine. Chester Taylor in the backfield.
Play action. I don't remember what happens here, but they should play action.
Oh.
Now they just give it to Chester Taylor, and it's a tackle for 0.
Okay.
Come on, guys. Everyone knew you were going to run the ball. That's why you got to play action.
58 seconds and counting. 53, 52, 51, 50.
This is before they put those like handy field goal range lines or whatever. Not that those lines are like great because it's a gradient of probability, but it would have been helpful here if they put like the 55-yard field goal.
33
line.
seconds.
10 seconds on the play clock. 2nd and 10.
Favre is dropping back.
Oh, no, it's a loss. Oh, it's 0. Yeah.
Yep. 19. And okay, Vikings. Why do you call it? If you're going to call a timeout there, it doesn't make any sense. New Orleans doesn't have any timeout.
It's so that they can throw a pass, I think.
You could kick it right there. You could let it run down. They have nothing left. You could have.
And here it is. Here it is.
Here it is. You guys ready for this? Favre tries to call timeout.
There's the flag.
They don't. Yep. They don't let him call timeout.
Yep.
12 men in the huddle. Oh,
Jesus!
5-yard penalty. Still third down. Out of range now. Well, if you're still listening at home, we're about to hit a point of no return. You've made it this far. Let's make sure your glasses are full, because this is it, folks.
That Sage Rosenfeld's on the sideline there.
Writing his memoirs.
Hit an 8 or 9 yard comeback and call a timeout. They've got one timeout left. It should. This feels like something that's like doable.
Mm-hmm. You've been able to run on them this quarter. You could do that. Just get yourself 5 or so yards. You could do that. You could play action. Favre goes back. Favre springs to his right.
Play design. They don't need to go for the first down there. That's ridiculous.
No.
He throws across his body to get the interception. Sullivan with the tackle. Doesn't matter. They force an overtime. Tracy Porter, who'd been playing pretty well all game, he does the Jared Allen sack dance, of course.
There it is.
It was terrible play design, too. Like, they were going for
Why
the
were they
conversion.
going for first down? You didn't need a first down. You could do anything in this position. You could put the ball in Percy Harvin's hands.
Yes, it's terrible all around. It's like you throw. So it's a bootleg. They've got 4 routes going to the right. The Saints, of course, see them and cover the route. So Favre throws across his body to Sidney Rice, who's been having trouble corralling those difficult catches in, kind of for a lot of the game. Man,
huge mistake. Thank you.
Huge mistake.
5 turnovers for Minnesota. And
pretty good pass rush, pass deflection, knocks the ball down, 1 second left. Time to go to the overtime that changed overtime rules.
Yep, you can call it the Favre rule if you'd like, because this is what changed the overtime rules. This is what complicated things for people like Donovan McNabb. Oh man, that still hurts. Boy, that was that far. Why did they go for the first down there? You could have just not called a timeout too, and you could have driven it down to the 2. And all right, so it's end of regulation, 28-28, and they're about to do the coin flip. It was at this point when the coin went up in the air that it was tails that I knew we were going to lose. We were not going to get the ball back.
So was the phantom pass interference in overtime? Huh.
Oh, man. Okay, we're nearing the end of this, folks, so hang with us for just a little bit longer because we've got the overtime. So if you were curious, there was a question saying, how the hell did we lose? I think we found out on that last drive. As the Saints run it to the 39 on their side of the field for that return. Was that Thomas?
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, Thomas makes it to the 39-yard line.
Probably should have been a block in the back there. Not that I'm salty.
Not that we're picking this apart completely, just combing over every possible instance of this. Oh yeah,
and the camera's got a Brett Favre like in between every Saints play in this overtime. You know, honestly, like in retrospect, the narrative for like you need to let Brett Favre like see the field, it doesn't really make sense given that he had the 2-minute drive.
No. Yeah, you can stop showing Brett Favre at this point. We knew what we signed up for as Vikings fans. We knew what we signed up for in the preseason when Brad Childress became Mr. Limo Driver. This was all going to end in tears. It was going to look great, but it was going to end in tears. I think I've told the story on the show before, but right before that, right at the 2-minute warning, I went to the bathroom and splashed some water on my face to just kind of like get some feeling back in there.
Right.
And I looked at myself in the mirror and I knew exactly how this was going to end. I knew Favre was going to throw a terrible interception and that we just weren't going to get the ball back. We were going to go into overtime and we were going to lose because of a kick from New Orleans. Like that was what we were going to expect. And I wasn't even mad at the end of it because I had already seen the end. Reggie Bush gets a yard. Yeah, where is this high-flying offense? They should be elite. Where's Drew Brees? He certainly can't burn us. 3rd and 6. 13:53
this
to
is where the
52,
Vikings stop them on
51,
third down,
50.
force a punt, and then get a field goal in the ensuing drive and win the game.
Yeah, that's what's supposed to happen here. If, there was a just and loving God, this whole thing wouldn't have happened. 3rd and 6. How are they going to convert? Breeze goes back. Colston catches it, and there's a penalty flag.
Asher Allen is saying it's not a catch. There's a penalty flag anyway.
Asher Allen is screaming, "What is a catch?"
Asher Allen, prophet.
So they're going to call it on Asher Allen. Oh, okay. That's the Phantom. So there's your pass interference call that you've been waiting for.
There's a little bit of give and take on that one. That's kind of annoying. Oh yeah. They still have the automatic. God, I hate this automatic first down because it's a 5-yard penalty.
Yeah.
Like on 3rd and 6, but it's an automatic first down. Yeah, so it's an incomplete pass. Doesn't matter.
Okay, so they're on their own 48. Breeze drops back. Breeze gets smoked.
Drilled. Yeah.
Ray Edwards just wanted to make sure the imprint of his jersey was still on Breeze after that hit.
Wait, Jared Allen looked like we double or triple covered on that.
Jared Allen you have like violent runners. He just looked violent trying to break that triple team. He wanted that so badly.
He did.
As a result, they left it open for Edwards there. Why is Winfield in the slot? And Colston. Oh, I forgot.
This, I think, is the phantom pass interference.
I forgot.
Oh, no. It's just a dropped interception. Oh, my God.
That could have gone to any 3 of those players.
Right.
Marcus Colston goes
just trailing.
Up,
yeah. Oh.
And it popped up in the air.
That could have been what Tyrell Johnson could have gotten. Oh, my God. I just think that Madu Williams is looking at him like, how could you fuck up that badly? I don't know, Madu.
I just don't know. It was even off the foot, too.
Yeah, right?
Oh. I had totally blocked that out. I'd blocked most of this overtime out.
I totally forgot about that dropped interception.
Now they're almost in field goal range.
Right. I think they give him the spot, and it shouldn't.
The yellow line would indicate that it would be okay to give them the first here, but
oh wow, Asher Allen just got juked out of his shoes.
Yeah.
Really? Best footwork on the team? Like, geez, man.
From that view, that should not have been a first down.
I don't think it should have been, but
it looks wasn't. Like it's not. And the line is even off.
That yellow line is way off. Yeah.
I like how they fade the line immediately afterwards. Like, oh crap, we're at least a yard off. We are off by over the length of the football. Quit showing Favre's sad face. Favre is every Vikings fan at this moment.
Those production decisions really did change because if they don't have those camera shots on Favre watching the Saints march without him being able to do anything, that rule doesn't get changed.
No. Okay, they're going to review.
Oh my God.
12:56 in overtime remaining. They are going to a booth review.
Is that Mark Brunell on the sideline?
I think it might be. Yeah,
wow.
he was still in the league. Yeah, they're just trying to figure out if he was touched or if he was able to move a bit forward there.
But he gave himself up. It shouldn't matter. Yeah, whatever.
What is a catch? I feel like even in 2009. Yeah, you're right. Asher Allen was juked out of his shoes.
He was touched, too, by Allen.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, yeah, everyone stands.
You know what's coming. You know what's about to happen, and it's 4th and inches, and they're going to go for it.
Which I think is kind of like an interesting decision in a sudden death.
Those lips,
man.
How many of the Vikings are going to put on the line here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he still jumps over. Pierre Thomas leapt over at least 7 Vikings. Oh.
Does Childress throw the challenge flag here?
I thought in overtime all calls were...
I have no idea what the...
I don't know what the 2009 rule is on that. Oh, look at him trying to get the ball out.
Actually, I don't think the ball actually goes anywhere. Childress has the challenge flag, so...
Yeah,
that's tough. That angle is not very good for determining.
No. If the ball would have popped out there due to the helmet of Greenway, we could probably have built a nice statue to Greenway in front of the stadium.
Yeah.
And you'd be bringing it flowers.
Ruling stands.
Ruling stands. 1st down and 10. Now the Saints are definitely in field goal range. Oh, I hate New Orleans. Every part. This has been a very loud crowd. A very, very loud crowd.
Is that what 102 decibels means?
Probably.
Wow, Jared Allen.
Jared Allen.
How did he not get that?
Incomplete and pass interference.
That's the pass interference I was talking about.
Lieber got called on David Thomas. Really?
Yeah.
Was that catchable?
For David Thomas.
Was it? God, that's too bad. Yep. Here's pass interference. Defense. Ben Lieber. Ben Lieber then retires and goes on the sidelines and talks with Paul Allen all day.
Just a terrible call.
Terrible call.
Not catchable. I don't think that's interference. I think David Thomas just falls over.
You might be able to call holding on that, but you shouldn't call pass interference on it.
But look, he's not touching him as he falls over. Like that's just mind-boggling to me.
And the ball was at least 7 yards past the receiver when the fall happened. Not catchable in the least. Oh.
Huge tackle for loss, of course, by Ben Lieber.
Yes. His sudden retirement was kind of a surprise. It was a big surprise.
Didn't he spend a year on the Rams though? I don't remember.
He might have. Yep, Garrett Hartley's warming up. Yeah, he did. He he was Chargers and then Minnesota and then Rams for a year. Breeze, it's caught. It's on the 22.
That's field goal range. Like it's like they're playing as if like the down and distances matter in a regulation game, and they're not acting as if it's a sudden death overtime. Man. Was that Winfield who got burned?
Let's see the replay.
Yeah, it was.
That was Winfield was in the completely wrong spot.
And it doesn't look like that should be a catch, but they're reviewing it?
Nope, timeout New Orleans because Breeze is coming off. Okay, it is a booth review.
Well, that angle makes it look like a catch.
Yeah, that angle definitely makes it look like a catch. It's fair, but we shouldn't have even been at this point.
I think that's probably fair to call that a catch.
I like how this is like the long booth review of this particular of this particular video. Stand as a catch. Sean Payton and his lips have 3rd and 3. Are you going to send Hartley out, or are you going to try to get to the right hash mark for him? Adrian, put that helmet down, son. Adrian Peterson is on the sidelines with his helmet, just looking like he's. I'm ready. We got another quarter here. He went to the Donovan McNabb School of Overtime.
So unusual that they decided to pass it on 3rd and 3.
Well, doesn't really matter. All he needed to do, if he was going for the touchdown, fine. But all he really needed to do was just make sure he didn't turn it over there, and that's what he did. He threw it at the receiver's feet. So he knew the one thing he couldn't do.
But like a touchdown is just as valuable as a field goal. That's like there's no upside to throwing.
Minnesota decided to take the timeout before he kicked as opposed to icing him. So here it is. The snap, and the kick.
Boom.
They're going to the Super Bowl. Okay, let's stop watching this. I feel like we've reached the point now that we no longer need to see any more confetti. Oh, good.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
The video is over. So that was the entirety of the 2009 NFC Championship game between the Vikings and the Saints, in which the Dirty Saints were able to beat the Vikings. What takeaways do you have after watching this?
I mean, well, I'm like glad to get the rematch, which is nice.
Yeah.
It's weird because like you watch that and it doesn't like feel much like the way that you would describe the rest of that 2009 season, which I mean makes sense. It's a loss. The season was successful and stuff, but it's stunning to me, kind of like how little innovation Williams had to bring on defense, Greg Williams, to be seen as like a blitz-heavy exotic defense, whereas how staid and conservative that Vikings defense was, how few different looks that they provided, and how much defense has evolved over the past 8, 9, 10 years. Even, I mean, on offenses too. I mean, just like there's so much like compactness and running the ball up the middle and whatever. So it's like weird. some of the questions that people asked, I think they're like super interesting questions. I think that the question about which team is better is still getting to me. Off of that game, you probably pick the 2017 Vikings, but I think just off of the season, you probably picked the 2009 Vikings. I mean, I think they blew more teams out too.
Well, and you can argue that the 2009 Vikings aren't going to have 5 fumbles,
right?
Consistently,
exactly. Right. That Adrian Peterson and that Brett Favre, I think over the course of a season, if you just pick, a random point in the season and put them up against a random point in the 2017 Vikings season, I think you're in a good spot, especially because it really feels like, if all the flaws of that defense, they do have, pretty good tacklers, and that could probably take away a lot of what the 2017 Vikings offense is pretty good at. That question is super interesting. But yeah. What are your kind of takeaways?
I haven't. Part of the reason why we did this was so that we could kind of go back, and as the Vikings are taking out past foes, it's kind of good to kind of remember where you came from and see this game, because I don't know if you've watched it in the past couple of years, but I certainly haven't. I remember when Bountygate first came a thing. I remember watching the third and fourth quarter again, and just watching every hit and every just bad move and everything. And I guess my biggest takeaway from this was I thought Brett was a little less mobile than he really was in the on that last drive. Like, I remember him being a lot less mobile, a lot more just kind of like a stick, like planted in the backfield and couldn't move on the throw.
Well, I think part of it is that in the replay that we watched, that cut out all of the interstitial bits between plays, because I think a lot of our impression of that game comes from him just like walking around limping slow, and we saw that in between plays a lot, and we just didn't get that in the YouTube cut.
I like the idea that the NFL cut that out just for like lawsuit or for like historical purposes. We don't actually need to see. We're just gonna, every time instead of showing Favre like limping to the sidelines or something, we're just gonna show Deanna. We're just gonna show his wife instead.
Right, yeah.
No, it's weird because I don't remember the like looking back. I remember the defense of 2009 being good for run, bad for pass, which was a major reason for concern with the Saints. I thought that we were going to be able to handle Tony Romo, and we did quite handedly. But when it came to the Saints, I thought that posed a much bigger threat because Breeze was going to be able to thread some needles. Plus, with that vicious, hard-hitting defense that we later found out what that was about, I didn't trust it. I didn't think I thought the Vikings could win if they stayed out of their way. But those fumbles. And even the Saints were having fumbles. Like, I had forgotten how many there were. Like, that they existed. That they happened.
Right, and you can count them up in a box score, but like just watching them again and again and again is just like draining. Like, how does that keep happening?
It was just like, and they were like multiple series in a row that this was happening. You're just, oh God, really? Any one of like 10 plays goes a different way, and we win that game. And instead, we miss on all 10. Like, the fumbles are the biggest takeaway for me, just because they happened, but just watching them again, just it's enough to drive you mad. Just like watching how Adrian was holding the ball, especially at the when he fumbled in the red zone, or when he fumbled forward, and you're just like, how do you do this?
Yeah.
Oh, that is rough. So that is going to be it for this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. This is something much different than we normally do. Not sure if we'll ever do it again, but this was really fun to do. I really enjoyed it. I don't know about you. I really enjoyed this.
I had a ton of fun.
This was fun to kind of look back on, and especially because of the different schemes and the different ways they were playing defenses in 2009, 2010, was just kind of fascinating to see how plays were developing and everything. And it was also fun to see Jared Allen in his like final form. just just running as angry as possible. We will be posting a new episode later this week as a full preview of the New Orleans game and talking about some other fun stuff involving the playoffs. Anything to plug before we finish up?
Yeah, I've got a preview piece I've written on the Saints up at zonecoverage.com. Put a lot of work into it. A lot of it was actually written before the Saints ended up winning their divisional game. So even though I had a incentive for the Saints to lose that game in some respects, there was a small part of me that was like, oh man, if the Saints lose, I'm gonna have to throw this entire article away. They didn't, and I still ended up fulfilling the conditions of that incentive. So I guess best of both worlds. But it's like 2,500, 3,000 words on why the Saints are so formidable as opponents, why they're probably the worst possible opponent to play in the NFC, even though it's a divisional game instead of the conference championship, or divisional round instead of the conference championship, and what makes them so different from the week one team. So that's what I'm plugging. I think it's pretty good. And then we're going to have hopefully a guest on to preview the Saints and see kind of what I got wrong about that.
So there is that. So that is going to be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for checking us out and making it to the end. That's going to be it. So for Reef, for Dusty, my name is James. And as a speed bump once said, demand excellence. Demand Norse Code. And we will see you later this week.
Norse Code is the largest and only division of Norse Code LLC. You can find Norse Code on the Daily Norseman, SB Nation's Vikings blog at dailynorseman.com. You can also find it on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music Podcasts, or wherever else fine podcasts are aggregated. Our Vikings blogger extraordinaire and generally useful human is Arif Hassan, who can be found on Twitter at Arif Hassan NFL. Our intrepid producer and occasional co-host James Pogachnik can be found on Twitter at Big Mono or curating the official Norse Code Twitter feed at NorseCodeDN. I'm your host with a firm grasp of the obvious, Dusty O'Connell, and my name is my handle on Twitter. If you'd like to donate a few bucks to the show, your one-time donation can be made at paypal.me/NorseCode, or a recurring monthly contribution can be made by visiting patreon.com/NorseCode. Please visit our website, norsecodepodcast.com, where you'll find links to our Facebook and YouTube pages, along with the episode archive and some other good stuff. And any questions or comments that won't fit in a tweet can be emailed
to norsecodepodcast@gmail.com. And on behalf of the entire Norse Code staff, thank you so much for listening.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.